Hey there, welcome to the AI Equation Podcast. In today's episode, we're diving into how AI is revolutionizing customer support. We're going to explore some AI tools that are transforming the way businesses interact with their customers. Hey, welcome to the podcast, Jake.
Thanks, Alex.
Yeah, I feel like now that I'm introducing the podcast, where you've been leading the podcast for many months now, and you've been sharing the top news stories every day, and we've switched up the format a little bit. I wonder if you feel like, hey man, now I feel like I'm a guest on the podcast.
No, I still feel a big part of the show, but I'm glad to have you here as well, so we can kind of. It's a little easier when there's two people talking. Let's just say that.
Okay, so that's good. Yeah, I just don't want to overstep and take over the show here, So it's got to be. If I do, I'll probably just start sending in my AI chatbot, which sounds a lot like me, but is not me. All right, well, go ahead and lead us with the first story then.
Yeah, so today we're going to be covering AI's role in customer support. That begins by examining the pivotal role that AI can play in customer support. And the way businesses assist and engage with their customers is evolving rapidly thanks to the AI. AI-driven customer support solutions are available around the clock, ensuring a more efficient and responsive customer service experience pretty much across any industry that you can visit their website.
Yeah, I really love this topic, Jake. And I do so because I think, my experience in marketing, sales, and customer support, all three of those for most companies should always align. So whether you're a consumer or a business, you're listening to the podcast here and you're thinking, look, well, how is AI going to benefit me? I think these are three of the top cases for business. Of course, we could talk finance and other areas, but those are more sensitive when it comes to the communication, engagement between brand and consumer. It's marketing, sales, and customer support. So there was a story that I shared some time ago about Disney creating a task force to explore AI to cut costs. And that's really not what it was about. I mean, when you looked at the story, Disney had 11, I believe at the time of this story, 11 job openings seeking candidates with artificial intelligence or machine learning experience. So if you're Disney, yes, you have many different brands, but if you just set aside their virtual properties like Disney Plus and the studios and whatnot, and if we just focus on Disney World as a brick and mortar business, a giant one at that. But if you've ever been to a theme park like Disney, then you know what customer support, feels like. And they've never been able to really capture that on the phones. And I've personally experienced that where you buy a ticket online on a Disney website to go to the park, and then you need to make changes. Well, for a long time, it felt a little bit like, frustrating at times when you had to download the app, then get on the phone with someone. And now with these chatbots becoming, well, they're increasingly sophisticated. They allow these systems to provide instant responses to their customer inquiries. And of course, companies like Zendesk, Intercom, and many others are enabling their customers to use their virtual agents as well. And those virtual agents, they can handle a range of customer service tasks, from answering questions to processing orders. So if you think of from marketing to sales to customer service, in the last episode, we talked about sales and how during the sales process, salespeople may be using certain AIs to give you a better experience. Well, as you go down that path, again, those chatbots are there to make your experience better. And so is that going to make customer support obsolete? I don't think so. I think it's just going to allow customer service reps at different call centers, like at Disney, it's going to allow them to handle more calls. And at the end, that's going to make you, the customer, a happier customer. So I love it for chatbots. Now, how about for analytics? Tools like IBM Watson and Salesforce's Einstein can also help businesses better understand their customers. What it does is analyzes customer data and then it predicts their needs, their behaviors, their preferences, their issues. It's looking at their affinity groups, their interests, obviously their buying habits, and it's going to allow companies to proactively address your concerns. So I love analytics for that reason. But one of the things that we talk about here often is, being careful who you share your data with. So make sure that whatever software or web app that you're using, make sure you know who the team is behind the app, where they're storing. Are they using AWS? Are they using Google Cloud? What technology are they using? And how are they managing your data? To me, that's like very important. I want to give any startup the opportunity to grow. I mean, and clearly our sponsor here, Article Factory, is a startup, and it's doing AI. And of course, we want to see growth. However, it's important that for you, the consumer, the AI enthusiast, the business owner, it's important that you understand who is behind these companies. You can't just go with anyone. You need to understand the team behind it. All right. And then the last customer support tool that I want to share with you here is just speech recognition. That technology has entered a customer support landscape as well. Companies like CallMiner, they use AI to analyze customer service calls. CallRail is another one actually that we've used as well. It will analyze the different keywords that the agent and the customer spoke about, and then it will give you data analytics based on that, providing the insights into the performance and the customer sentiment as well. So you hear this with some whisper agents at the end, maybe coming in and saying, how would you rate this call? So overall, look, it helps companies improve their customer quality. So whether it's Disney or a local business, you always want to improve your customer experience. And that customer experience, no doubt, is dictated by your support and your service. And if your human customer support agents can use some of these AI tools to better that experience, then you should. Absolutely.
So do you have any idea of like what specific fields might be impacted the most for customer support and AI? I know like chatbots, I think of like car dealerships, stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think e-commerce is clearly the biggest one right now. Why? Because anyone who buys on Amazon or Etsy or a Shopify website, you're already into that world where you part with your money easily and you buy the product or service, it gets shipped to you. So those types of consumers, Jake, no doubt are going to be a better use case than are some industries that are still a little behind the times, right? So, and I do think what you just mentioned, Jake, is important to know too. I think if you're making a big transaction like buying a car, like buying a house, the interaction with the chatbot is going to be a little bit more complicated than if you're just asking the chatbot, "Hey, I applied this coupon, but the discount didn't apply, and now you charge me full price. Hey, Mr. Chatbot, I need my refund." Right?
Yeah, I totally get that. So along with customer support today, we're also going to highlight the work of Yi Song, a professor at the Chinese Academy of Sciences from Time's 100 Most Influential People in AI. As a sophomore in Beijing, Professor Yi Song embarked on a remarkable path towards building AI systems that mimic the human brain and, more importantly, possess a sense of morality. Inspired by Steven Spielberg's AI artificial intelligence, Yi aspired to create robots capable of loving humanity. Over time, Yi's focus shifted towards addressing the potential risks associated with AI systems. He dedicated his expertise to working alongside policymakers to establish regulations promoting beneficial AI development. In 2019, Yi led the team that crafted the Beijing AI Principles, marking a significant step towards responsible AI. Professor Song firmly believes in fostering international collaboration. He strives to convey the commonality between Chinese and global perspectives on AI's challenges and risks. His involvement in diplomacy initiatives and addressing the UN Security Council illustrates his commitment to promoting shared values and objectives. While geopolitical tensions and AI's controversial use for surveillance have strained relations between China and the US, Professor Yi Song is resolute in the shared concern for AI's impact. A recent poll revealed a striking 62% of US voters are concerned about AI, paralleled by 91% of Chinese respondents supporting mandatory safety and ethics frameworks for AI models. As the custodian of AI ethics and international cooperation, Yisong emphasizes the imperative need for collaboration. With both nations sharing apprehensions and aspirations concerning AI, collaboration becomes an inevitable path forward.
Yeah. So I think anything that is, China related, unfortunately, is something that I feel like is going to be hard. I'm definitely a globalist. I believe that the best ideas should win the contest, but unfortunately, the global politics right now between the U.S. and China and obviously other nations is a little tense. So even like if you look at the NVIDIA chips, which we've talked about here on the podcast, not only in the news but also in our blog posts, NVIDIA really holds the key, and I think that the U.S. is going to do everything they can to. They're going to do everything they can do to keep China from gaining any traction in the world of AI. I mean, if you look at what Alibaba is doing, it's cutting edge, but it's nowhere near what OpenAI, Microsoft, and others are doing here in the US. So I think it's great if they have these mandatory safety and ethics frameworks for AI models. So it's ultimately, it has to be a private-public partnership, which is complicated as it is for each country. So, now if we involve China and the U.S., we'll see how things work out. But I'm glad that we're able to highlight people like Yi Zhang that is working towards making AI safer for everyone, right? Because I think on the other side, I keep hearing so many with doomsday stories, and I think that is making people not adopt or adapt to this new world that includes AI. So whether you're a consumer or a business, you can't sit on the sidelines. And that's what we're trying to do here on the podcast, Jake, right? We tell people all the time, we're trying to bring you the news stories. We're trying to let you know what the thought leaders, the companies, like everything that is AI related, so that you can go into it understanding what the upside is for you.
Yeah, and so people can also, on the same hand, go in and use AI safely, no matter what they're using it for.
Right. I was thinking as we're speaking here on the podcast, I'd love to ask ChatGPT in real time here, so that this way we can keep things honest. Let's ask ChatGPT. Hey, ChatGPT, is it safe for me to use AI? Let's see what the response is. I've never asked ChatGPT this. All right, so let's see what it says. Hey, Mr. Alex, absolutely. AI can be pretty safe if used responsibly. Hey, that's true. And then it says, just keep in mind that things like data privacy, hey, we keep talking about that, especially since you're in the digital marketing and technology space, deal with customer information. Always use reputable platforms or services, kind of like how you prioritize using your data and reliable sources for your content. Are you kidding me? This is exactly what we've been saying no, seriously, right? Now, I didn't use ChatGPT to give that recommendation because it's common sense. It's just really common sense. Like I've talked about this with you before, Jake, with my kids, where before they download an app, before they watch a certain movie on a streaming service, before they buy a certain video game, right? We as a family do a deep dive into who created it, what company, who's behind it, what's their motive. And sometimes we've arrived, it could be something as simple as an app on the App Store. We've arrived at the fact that this app is only there to collect data. It's not really about the game. And so with AI, it's a lot the same. That's the same approach that I take with my kids. I believe that business owners and everyday consumers who want to use AI, it's that. be careful with your privacy, use reputable platforms. And then I think at the end of the day, you're going to be a lot safer, but not miss out on this amazing technology. What do you think?
Definitely. I mean, it's just, for people that have been using technology for a long time, it's just basic safety of using new softwares. You just have to carry it on to AI now, of knowing who the publisher is, knowing who the developers are, knowing what data they collect.
Absolutely. Well, there you go, guys. Thanks for tuning in for another episode of the AI Equation podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please consider leaving us a review, of course, sharing the show, clicking subscribe so that you can get the the notification. And we're on Apple, we're on Spotify, Amazon, and many other platforms.